Well, hello again, and what you're looking at here is my Zenith El Primero Chronograph pilot model. And what I've done is I've set the time to be just before midnight. And the reason for doing that is because I want to film the date window changing from one day to the next. And we'll see how quickly it changes, how accurately it changes, and whether it changes bang on midnight. Now, this is just a bit of fun because really, if it didn't change at midnight, if it changed at sort of 1/4 or 1:45, it's not that important. But it is quite a good indication of a good quality watch and a good movement that will allow the date to change bang on midnight, because I do have some other watches where that doesn't happen. So what I want to do is film all these different watches. I'll actually speed up the video so that you're not going to have to stick around like I am and watch what's going to happen. So I'll be quiet now and we'll just go and watch to see what's going to happen and whether the date will in fact change bang on midnight or not. Okay, so I'm back again, and the date's going to change, what, about 10 or so seconds before midnight, which is pretty damn good going, I reckon. So well done to this particular Zenith El Primero pilot. And next up is my second Zenith, my Zenith El Primero Chronograph Captain model. And once again, I've set up the time to be just before midnight, so I'll be quiet now and we'll see what happens with the date and whether it snaps over accurately bang on midnight. So here goes. Okay, so here we are back at normal time again, and I thought that wasn't too bad at all. The date change occurred just after midnight, maybe a minute or two afterwards, and the date change itself occurred instantly. It sort of snicked over, no delay whatsoever, so I'm pretty happy with that. I thought that was quite a good performance. And next up is my only Rolex with the date, my Submariner of course. And with this magnifying Cyclops there, hopefully even my cheap camera can pick up the date as it changes. So once again, I've set the time to be just before midnight. In fact, we're just approaching that now. So I'll be quiet and we'll let this thing run on and see what happens. Okay, so I'm back again, and the date seemed to change over around about 3 minutes past midnight, which is pretty good. And again, it was a quick changeover, but not quite as good as that of my two Zeniths. But my last watch with a date is not this, but it is, let's just bring it in. Okay, and now we come to my last watch with a date, which is my Heuer Carrera Chronograph. Now, I was going to film this, but really there's no point, because as I was trying to set up the time to change the date, which I'm going to do now, I noticed that the date actually starts to change over at about 10:30 p.m. So now I'm at 10:10. If you can see this on my rubbish camera, the date is just there. As I approach 10:30, the date starts to move. See, it's already moving now. We're at 11 o'clock. It's already moving. Keep on going to 12:30. We're sort of half and half. As we approach 11:45, it's going. 5:02, yeah, so it's gone over at about 5 minutes before midnight, which is pretty good, but sadly the date itself starts to change over at about 10:30, which isn't ideal. And again, that's not really very important, but it's just a little indication of the accuracy of a watch really, and the way the date changes with a little snick or not. So yeah, the watches do have little quirks and little limitations, and I must say I'm quite surprised that the Rolex isn't as good, in fact isn't better than my old two Zenith El Primeros, which have movements that was made in, or first designed anyway, back in 1969. This one, of course, my tag here, of course, has the famous Value 7750 movement, which you can see there through its case back. Nothing too exciting about it. It's a bit of a workhorse, a bit of a tractor of a movement, but there's nothing wrong with that at the right price, as long as you don't pay too much for something like this. Yeah, so, oh, and before I finish, I'll do a little wristwatch check, and today I am wearing my, let's just zoom out a wee bit, and today I'm wearing my Rolex Cosmograph Daytona, which of course doesn't have a date, so that particular test is irrelevant at the moment. Anyway, thanks for watching and cheers.